Hello and welcome to this online content session. Today we'll be dealing with the problems of going blank whenever there is an essay or a GD. Uh, Today we'll deal with the times that you must have been in a group discussion when there's a certain topic in which you have very little knowledge or no knowledge, and similar is the case with an essay. So today we'll deal with the brainstorming, how to brainstorm, how to come up with ideas which are relevant to the topic. So first of all, let's begin with the free writing. There is something called pre-writing. Whenever you are given a topic, what you want to do is first you want to make a plan of what you want to go about it. What topics you want to cover. First of all, you have to plan. And the first strategy towards pre-writing is free writing. Free writing involves thinking or coming up with any sort of topics or relating objects which are in reference to the topic, and as per that there is something called brainstorming. Both free writing as well as brainstorming give us an idea of, if we are, for example, if we are given a topic, let's say health. Now you know nothing about health, it's just in health. So how do we go about it? First we write, a chain of thought comes to our mind. We are supposed to think about health, who is going to be benefited with it. Any random thought which is related to health will be covered under this free writing or brainstorming session. While we are doing brainstorming, what we want to do is anything that relates to this, and even if it is not relating to it, you do not want to inhibit the stream of thought. Even if you are going off topic, going in tangential, still you just continue. Now there are different techniques which are involved with brainstorming. First of all, there is SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So basically what we want to do is, whenever we are given a topic, let's say for example it is Make in India. We're doing a SWOT analysis. What are strengths of Make in India? What are the benefits that Make in India will do to India? If we shall say that it is Make in India versus Make for India. Now what do you think could be the strengths of this? What are the strengths of Make in India and what are the strengths for Make for India? Let's see. Both strengths and weaknesses would be internal. How it could be internal? Make in India, profitability, employability, generation of employment, generation of money, capital formation, entrepreneurship. Okay, these are all strengths. Man, Make for India, that is, we will be producing for own consumption. As of now, predominantly we are an importing country. So what we do is import more and export less. So Make in India is primarily related to exports, and Make for India is making for own consumption, that is reduction of imports. So both of them are good for India, but as of now we are only focusing on Make in India. So the strengths are, okay, employment, then capital formation, and along with this, capital formation is formation of money, then more investment, balance of payment crisis will be reduced to a certain extent, then current account deficit will be reduced. These all come under SWOT analysis, and then we come into the weakness. What are the weakness of any of these topics? What is weakness of Make in India? Whenever we talk about investments, large scale investments in India will not bring about large scale employment. Why is that? The reason why large scale employment is not possible in larger enterprises, because most of the large scale enterprises use high technology, and these high technology factories or industries do not employ that high number of labor, but rather skilled labor is utilized. So large scale employment will not be possible in large scale companies. So therefore we have shifted towards entrepreneurship plus small and medium scale enterprises, or rather cottage industries in India. So if there is small and medium scale enterprises, the number of people employed under self-employment, or rather opening up their own business, would be higher. That is why it could also lead to a more inclusive environment. How is that? Rural participation. Basically, self-help groups will be created which will create meaningful employment in the rural areas and predominantly employing women. So in the larger scale, we have to shift towards this, and make in India would not suffice for a longer period. So it's not as such a sustainable model. And then there is opportunities. What are the opportunities that are available under Make in India? Investments, technological advances, capital. We are capital deficient and labor surplus, that is human resource surplus. If we want to utilize this human resource surplus, we need capital. If we have capital, then we can also use this skilled employees in order to generate a positive growth. This positive growth will again increase our exports and reduce our imports, and as a whole improve our global standing in business, in trade. And then what are the threats to it? Threats again, non-inclusive. It is non-inclusive as such. These are all, see, what we are doing is trying to come up with certain ideas which are related to a single topic. This is the SWOT analysis. And similarly, there is something called Feltier. S leads to social, political, historic, economic, legal, technology or technical, international, and religion. Whether it be any sort of a economic issue or political issue or religious issue or any other issue that you are not able to come up with certain points, you could use this acronym. So for example, we can take a single example of, let's say, do you want to give an example of any topic that we can employ this method to? Anything else? Startup India is similar to Make in India. So like, for example, a social issue or a international significance, something maybe health, just like a Zika virus. Could Zika virus have an implication towards India? Sort of that. Maybe health, the position of health as such. Let's say reservation. Why? And what changes it has brought up. So if we see that what a reservation is, of course, caste system, it has a deep rooted social banking, right? So social issues, yes, it has a social implication. If we have reservation, it will create a society in which there will be equality, egalitarian policies will be followed, and as such people will be not deprived of their rights. There will be lesser exploitation. Okay, reservation. And how is it political? See, political both positive as well as negative, we can say. Negative as such, it creates divisions in the society. It creates an arena in which political demagogues can use it as a political tool and create divisive policies and use them as vote bank. So it can lead to a divisive society, but as such positive, it is political, that it has provided the deprived section of the society a face in the parliament. Right? A representative of the lower caste is also present in the parliament, so they have a representative. So this both positive as well as negative. And then comes the part of health. Reservation in health, doctors are being made like people of backward or tribal areas after getting their degrees do move back and provide health care to these areas. And at the same time, economic, they are able to get employment, they are able to create jobs for their fellow people. And then at the same time, there are certain legal implications. Our constitution states that reservation as such is a part of uh, is an integral moral fiber of our society. And as such, any uh, exploitation or differentiation based upon the caste is banned or barred and termed as illegal in our constitution. And at the same time, technical, international as such, no, not that say. Reservation does not have any international impact apart from like the meritorious people do go abroad because there are lesser um, educational opportunities in India, but that is not a major issue as such. And religion, basically, reservation based upon minorities or religion is also these days an is important issue. So this is the way of collecting ideas or getting ideas when you are blank, like Peltier and SWOT analysis. And apart from that, one of more important thing is whenever you are given a topic, try to let's say you're given an essay and you want to create a structure. Always have a structure in mind. But before you have a structure, you need content. And for that, you need to build up an exercise of creating sort of a structure in which interlinkages are also there. So then there is something called concept mapping or concept web. See how it works is, let's do it with the help of an example. Let's say we are given something, a topic related to poverty. So what we do is we create a bubble, and then we say that okay, maybe what we can write about poverty is what the causes of poverty is. What are the causes of poverty? Maybe okay. Let's have the macro view at this level. First, the macro levels. What are the different attributes or the parameters from which we can define a essay? First is we can define the causes of poverty, then the extent or the level or the divisions between the society. There are Antodai, which are poor amongst the poor. There are vulnerable sections, and how are they affected, and the relation between poverty and caste, right? And then historical reasons. So what we are doing is we are creating an interlinkages of everything and how to remove it. So these could be our major points that we could include, right? And then we could go into the narrower part of it. Okay, let's say we are going to talk about causes. Poverty, causes, what are the different causes? Historical reasons, historical how there was caste system in which the certain sections of society were segregated. Such segregated societies were not such segregated people or the portion of population were not able to develop themselves, were not able to create business opportunities for them. They were excluded from the society as such, so they become deprived. These sections are scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So as such, they compose majority of poor people. Then okay, historical reason causes. What else causes? Economy. Again, social exclusion. if even if there is no social inclusion, they do not have any means of propagating their interests. As such, they do not have jobs. If they do not have skills, they do not have opportunities, business opportunities. They do not have. Apart from that, they do not have money. Obviously, they are poor, so they cannot invest and they cannot grow. And what other causes could be? Social causes. Again, certain sections of societies have been excluded. Before independence, there was untouchability, and again, these factors caused them to become deprived. Okay, this is all what we can say is a part of. This is all a part of how we think. And could you give an example? We could discuss that live example, like how to bring up a map. Give an example of any essay that you might encounter or you think could be asked. GST bubble. Okay, let's say GST. What would be the effects of GST? Effects could be positive as well as negative. And what else? GST effects on impact national level, at international level. Okay, and what could be the, let's say, social implications or economic? Let's say economic implications of GST. And then we could say political, because it is not passing as such. Political it could be. Yes. So this is sort of a broad map that you can have: positive, negative, national, international, impact levels. So perhaps you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7 paragraphs. So I think more examples could be taken. Like if we could give the etymology, like it was passed in Lok Sabha, but it is still delayed in Rajya Sabha. Right. So what are the economic positives of it? We can give both positive as negative of economic impacts. What are the positives? There will be a unified tax system for indirect tax. Negative perhaps could be for states, reduction of state revenue. And again, benefit could be, it will be more consumer friendly. This sort of an example you can take. Brainstorm. Try to think upon it. If you will be able to do it, then I think it will greatly benefit you when there is a time constraint as well. So these are concept mapping, and apart from that, you have whenever you are going to whenever you're going to group discussion or essay, always try to have a structure. In essays, try to have an outline before you do that. Always have an intro, body, and conclusion. The main marks will be from your body. That is why we are doing this. This is all content based. In a group discussion, try to have an articulated form of your answers. Even if you are speaking twice or thrice in a GD and you are making good contributions toward the discussion you're in. So what you need to do is have an articulate structure of your answer, structure of your statements. Pragyan, if you need to be aware of the facts. See, that is what, see, you do not know, it is not necessary to have all the knowledge, right? But the general awareness, current affairs, you must know. See, GST is as such, I don't think it will be asked because it is still pending in Rajya Sabha and nothing positive or rather substantial has happened with regard to the GST. This is just one of example. I think there will be different examples. Social, just give me an example in which you think you do not know anything about. Just any fact, you have zero knowledge about that. we can still be able to make certain points. You can still contribute towards the GD, even if you don't know nothing. You there'll be certain points which could be generic as such. Any policy towards the welfare of people will have a positive impact. That is a very good thing if you have an essay. So if even in essay you need these things, three things: introduction, body, and conclusion. The main is practice brainstorming. These are the various strategies or the tools that you could follow. First was SWOT analysis. Second was Feltier, then concept mapping or concept web. Say China economy slump not yet. Okay, economy very nice. Okay, what we can say is what words: economy, China economic slump. Now, what do I know of it? I think this will be a very good. You must know what is currency devaluation. Yes, renminbi or yuan was devalued. Okay, even if you know, let's say I don't know this. I don't know anything about currency devaluation or what China is doing. What we know is economic slump. Economic slump is related to recession. Yes, you know what recession is, right? Even if you don't know recession, it is opposite of growth. So, okay, good. So, what we can talk about is recession. Let's say there was a recession in China. That is why there was a slump. So, what possible reasons could there be? Everybody knows that everything is made in China. Yes. So, what we can conclude is that China is a majority exporting country. Yes. So if China is exporting and if there is a recession, that means that their exports are reducing. Yes, that is why they are having lesser revenue and their economy as such is not on the boom anymore. So okay, first point what we can do is there is a need for let's say globalization, effect of globalization on Chinese economy. First, reducing imports. Reduction of imports, why? European Union or other European economies were not doing so good, therefore they were importing less. If once they were importing less, therefore China was exporting less. So this is an impact of globalization, right? And then what else can we say about this? Globalization impact, China, and then we can say the rise of India. Can we put into that? Chinese slump. Or rather, let's not put into China. Let's say increased competition among terrorist activities will have. I don't think so, because the majority part is Xinjiang. That is northwest, and not much of economic infrastructure is located in this area, northwest China. So I don't think it will have any direct impact on the economy of China. Neighboring countries, exactly. That is what I'm saying. Rise of India, rise of Asian globalization, and rising labor costs. Just recently, China had moved from a one-child policy to two-child policy. Yes, the reason behind this was that their demography is becoming skewed. The ratio of dependent population has increased such alarming levels that the workers in China are being more dependent. The number of workers in China has reduced. Therefore, in order to cater to that problem, they have adopted a two-child policy now. So what we can say is, okay, dearth of skilled labor or rising prices. So that is why their costs or inputs has increased. Therefore, Their profits have diminished, and as such, their competitiveness in global sphere might have been reduced. Exactly, aging is another. Aging is related to that only, related to the dependent population, increasing dependent population. Dependent population is old plus young, I mean, kids, children, and India has a surplus of worker. We are a young country. We have a higher demographic dividend. These all, so see, you can make points. This is how you go about it. And apart from this, you can have another approach. Let's say micro and macro. Macro is when you see economy as a whole. Whenever we talk about India, what we see in India, lots of diversity, lots of people, poverty, that is macro. When we talk about macro, we take those things as a single. Okay, there is poverty, how to tackle it, positives, negatives, right? And if there is a burgeoning population, then of course there are positives. What? There is a demographic dividend, at the same time increased stress on resources because of large population. So balanced approach. See both advantages and disadvantages of any of the topic or whichever has been given to us. So we can adopt a macro level approach and a micro level approach to all these problems, right? And apart from that, what we can see is the fourth part is who, what, 5 W's. This is another very useful strategy of how to come up with points. What, when, where. Whenever if we are given a topic, let's say for example, again, reservation, should it be there, why, whatever the topic is. First of all, what we see is who is getting affected. This is how we brainstorm stuff. If this is, let's say, who is getting affected, okay, general population, yes, why? Meritocracy is getting suffered, meritocracy is suffering, therefore they are getting affected. But on the other hand, the subjugated sections of society are becoming equal, propagation of equality. So both the sections have been taken up of the society, right? And what is the topic? Basically, what is it all about? Reservation, why was it picked up? Why the topic has been selected? What is the significance of this topic? So first, who is getting affected by this, and what is the topic? The reservation, directly tackling the population, and why is it significance? As of now, why was it significance? Why has this topic been given to us? And then where? What is the source or the occurrence? So even if let's say it's climate change. So what is the source of climate change? Maybe the wanton disregard of human behavior, or disregard for the environment, or polluting industries, and uh, then what is the occurrence? How is it harming us? Where, what, then who? Who is responsible? Or rather, when is it happening? When did it begin? When did it end? And what actions or when actions must be taken in order to tackle this problem? So if again this is the topic, then what and where, what action should be taken in order to cater to this population, to this problem of reservation? So this is how we are going to this is how we are going to think about how the major topics are to be tackled. And then why is it of interest now? Why now? Any topic can be tackled from this point of view. So if you have the knowledge of who, what, where, when, and why, any topic can be tackled from these. Even if you're not getting any idea, just put this formula in. Let's see what new ideas you can develop. And any other topic you want to discuss about you want to employ this 5 Ws. Yes, of course, try to have a balanced approach. Don't put into extremist views. Never be an extremist. Have a balanced approach. Like, you empathize with the other person. Don't say no, 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 yes, 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 I am right, you are wrong. That will be wrong. Just have a balanced approach in whatever you are trying. And whenever it comes to essay, always follow this timeline. 1/4 of the time you should plan, and half of the time you should write, and 1/4 of the time again revise and edit. This is what you should do ideally. Okay, let's do an exercise in which this will be the topic. Try to use Peltier approach. Okay, try to stick to one, Ketan. You don't want to be sound fidgety, like once you're saying yes, bro, and then you're going against. Just have a balance. Don't say it is bad or good. Like, do you want to give an example of it? Like, in which you could be like in a dilemma to go for or against any. We can have a balanced approach. We can say that FDI is good or FDI is bad. We can say that, okay, FII is a good, how it brings in investment in India, but on the other hand, P notes, which are promissory notes, should be banned in India, because as such they do bring in investment, but at the same time they are a tool of money laundering. So see, you are saying that FIIs are good as well, but some part is bad. So this is how you can go about it. So if you have any certain specific example and you think, you can take both positive as negative. See, everything, any topic would be relative. Any topic is always relative. There is no absolute wrong or absolute right. You can have a balanced approach in any of the topics. So if we employ the Peltier approach to this topic, what should be the priority of India in the 21st century? Employment or entrepreneurship? So what do we want to emphasize on? First, priority. What should be the priority of India? Second, 21st century, employment or entrepreneurship? Okay. Employment and entrepreneurship, how are they different? Employment and entrepreneurship. Employment is working for somebody else, and entrepreneurship, opening or working for your own oneself. This is the difference. And why should we prioritize either of them? What is the need of the hour? So what we can say is, obviously, for India to become a superpower in the 21st century, we have to become more self-reliant on economic aspect. We need not be dependent upon the foreign investment in India, but rather we should be able to create our own economic resources, exploit our own resources. We have been blessed to have a vast working population, have a positive demographic dividend, and these are the two tools through which our demographic dividend can be utilized to its fullest potential. Employment for the people who do not have the access to certain education, or perhaps let's say they are not keen to take risks and have certain responsibilities, therefore they are employed or can get themselves employed gainfully, and this could be done with imparting skills under National Skill Development Council. So this is what Government of India is doing. So okay, first is skills. Skills we are required for employment, but do we not require skills for entrepreneurship? Yes, we do. So again, what should be priority? Do we want to create self-employed people, or should we want to create an army of people which can be employed for somebody else? For example, in Make in India, what we are doing is we are attracting or calling for investment in India, and we are also promising them that we will provide you labor. We have demographic dividend, and we will provide you with skilled labor, and this skilled labor will be provided through our this council. There is a mission, National Skill India Mission. Skill India Mission is started by was started by our Prime Minister. Then again, we have another policy that was starting, that was Start Up India and Stand Up India, that promotes entrepreneurship. So, what is the government of India trying to do? Are we trying to generate employment, or are we trying to generate an army of entrepreneurs? Both. See, what the goal of government of India exactly? So, what is the goal of the government? The goal is economic growth, which will be inclusive, faster, and sustainable. Make in India as such is not a sustainable model, because Make in India primarily deals with getting investment. But on the other hand, we are also promoting domestic industries as well. But then again, all these industries are large scale industries which are not able to, which in the longer run will not be able to absorb as much surplus labor that we have. So for that, any policy to be inclusive, faster, or sustainable will have to involve the people themselves. Government of India cannot employ everybody as a government servant. That is just ridiculous. So what we want to do is we want to create an inclusive environment in which there are economic opportunities for them. And how are we providing these opportunities? Through Mudra Bank. See, now it is being linked. Everything is being linked. Yes. So this we are saying, okay, positive, inclusive. We should be inclusive. So both entrepreneurship is being promoted through Mudra Bank, in which small micro loans will be given, which will help self-help groups. And then again, these will self-help groups will provide employment. So indirectly, entrepreneurs are generating an employment. So how can they be different? Can they be different? See, entrepreneurships are also generating employment. So both are actually interlinked. But then again, why was this topic asked? 5 whys. Why is this question asked? Yes. So the reason why this topic was asked was because Make in India. Investment. Not everybody will be getting employed. So what we want to do is innovation. If anybody has innovative ideas, okay, come to Mudra, we'll give you a loan. Open up your own startup. We'll give you 3 years zero tax. And apart from other benefits that Startup India and Stand Up India is providing to the entrepreneurs. So in both the cases, the priority of Indian government as such is on economic independence and inclusiveness. So these are both means to a single end, but rather their scale is different. Employment is not sustainable. There will be a limit to which the industries can absorb the labor, right? So there will be a limit to which labor can be absorbed. On the other hand, if you are self-employed, you will be again positively contributed towards your own growth and the growth of the country. So this is both positive. Now another exercise that we can do is, should politicians use concept mapping? Try to do it. Try to do it and try to generate how the linking can be done. The main ideas are politicians, business school. Now while you're thinking, try to think of why politicians should go to business school. What positives or what negatives could be. But use concept mapping. Are you doing it? So how do you want to use concept mapping in business schools? First, politicians. What can politicians learn from business schools? First, managerial practices. Good managerial means they will have qualifications. Good qualifications will mean they will be better equipped to make public policies. This is what concept mapping is all about, and brainstorming session is all about. Is there anything, or we'll just wrap it up now? Do you have any questions to ask? Just keep on revising what the current affairs are. See, one is Zika virus, and then Afghan relations are relations with the neighboring countries. If you don't have any questions, then we can wrap it up. Just study about Article 373, gay rights, the rights of LGBT group, LGBT rights. If there are abstract topics, let's say for example, negative effects of animal conservation practices. Can you come up with any idea on this? Negative impact of animal conservation practices, or Article 373, LGBT rights. This is a news because Supreme Court has admitted a bill regarding to this 377. So what is Article 377? What are LGBT and how are their rights? Supreme Court, PIL. This is all in news, so it should be asked. It can be asked, right? These are very specific, but we can make it generic. Like rights, everybody has rights. There are fundamental rights to freedom of right to freedom of speech and expression. So this is their sexual autonomy. They have a right to sexual autonomy, and as such, this infringes Article 377 infringes with their right to sexual autonomy. This is what Supreme Court is going to decide under a 5 bench. So these are very, very abstract topics in which you have to read extensively. Just keep on reading newspapers. There is something called Rajya Sabha TV. Go to YouTube, just watch a couple of videos, watch what they talk about. Very, very informative sessions in Rajya Sabha TV. This is what you want to do. So any of the abstract topics you want to see how they discuss it. What are the basics, pattern of speech that they follow. They take up a point, they speak on that. They do not change their own opinion. Once you have an opinion, just stick with it. Do not try to shift to it. Do not shift with your opinion. Stick with it. But obviously do not have extremist views. Have a balanced view. And anything else. This will help you in updating your current affairs. It might be boring, but it is quite good. The discussions that they have are quite good. Just go to Rajya Sabha TV, and there are lots of programs or other channels and videos, playlists they have, in which only specific issue current affairs with respect to art and culture or even science and tech are discussed. So it is quite a good and informative channel, and Rajya Sabha TV that you can view online, YouTube. Yep, exactly. Anything else? So try to broaden your mind. Try to have a macro and micro. Don't get bogged down if you do not know anything about any topic. The main thing is have faith in your ability. Not everybody knows everything, and even if you, let's say you are in a GD, you don't know anything. In the first 5 minutes or 3-4 minutes, you are not saying anything, but you are listening, you are hearing. So if you come up with a point that you think you can present in a better manner, there will be people who will be saying but not being heard. So perhaps you can become more presentable. Try to adopt their points in a different manner, right? Both have their own balance. Have a balanced approach. See, only style without content will be failure. And if you have content but you're not able to present it in a good manner, that will also not be good. Have a balance. I'm saying have a balanced approach. Try to develop all the ideas. Right? Content is very important. Style is also important. See, if you're appearing in a personal interview, if you're not able to articulate what you want, what you know, see, even if I know I'm not able to present my ideas clearly to you, if I'm not able to communicate those ideas, are those ideas of any good? These are of no use. You must have to have communication skills. Body language, have a positive outlook, have a good mindset. Do not have any narrow point views, do not be uh, narrow minded, have a holistic approach to everything. Be happy be happy as such. Style is also important, content is also important, both are important. But when it comes to essays, only content will help you. In essays, content is very very important, and nothing else, guys. Don't worry about that. If in a long GD, for example, if a GD is going to last for like 15 or 20 minutes, the people who are just there to speak their minds and not listen will be on the back benches. Don't worry. There will be points when you will be able to speak. Just point out, have a people have see. You should always have an idea who are the ones who are not letting you speak. You will get a chance, don't worry. Even if the observers, who the teachers over there will be checking that you have not been given a chance, so in the end you might be given a chance. There's a good chance uh, that in the end you might be allowed to give your opinions, because no GD without a good moderator is not a good GD, right? But don't stop in between. Once you are saying, just complete your point. Do not allow others to interrupt you. But then again, there are lots of different factors that are involved. There might be some stupid people who are not allowing you, who will not allow you to speak, and just want to blabber blabber blabber, right? So just stay calm, stay focused, and try to come up with a solution, or a better point in which everybody will be listening to you. So don't worry about that. Just stay calm always. Anything else, Ketan? Now that is a good problem. You must have something to say. See, that is what we have done all this time. For past 1 hour, we are discussing how to brainstorm certain ideas. Even if you do not have anything specific to say, have a generic outlook that it'll have a social impact, or in the longer run, we should always focus on a sustainable and an all-inclusive policies. Use these words, in which will give you a certain impact. Like, okay, economic, we should also focus on growth. We should not only focus on growth, but rather with development. Anything you can say. If it is environment, sustainability, there are certain keywords which you should use. Always use certain keywords in which a person thinks that you know something. That is why you use it. If you use sustainable development, that means for a longer period. That is, you want to have a certain technology which will not harm the environment or the people engaged with that service. So that is what sustainability is. And inclusiveness, egalitarian, equality, secular approach, political approach. See, all emancipation of the poor, alleviation of poverty, have certain key points, key words to remember. In the previous lecture, we had also done certain keywords which could be employed. We could go through the government schemes and policies video, in which there were certain keywords which were given. You can memorize those words. No, why should you do that? Don't do that. If the other person wants to speak, they will. Uh, don't do that. You have a point, just say it. Don't say, okay, you have certain point, and in the end he doesn't say anything, right? If you say to that person, okay, you were saying something, or maybe if you were speaking and the person had interrupted you in between, right? You were speaking, the other person said, okay, he started to speak, and then you said, okay sir, please let me complete my point, and then you completed your point, and then you could perhaps say, okay, you were saying. That would be good. See, this is how a conversation is done. uh, don't think it as a big thing, right? It is obviously a very big thing. It's a career opportunity, but at the same, if you are going to pressurize yourself, it will not do any good to you. So think of it as you're among friends. Like, okay, you do allow your friends to speak, but if you're making certain point and he is again interrupting, so what you do is complete your point and then say, okay, you were saying something. Would you like to let me please allow me to complete my point, or 1 minute please. See, that will be progressive with respect to your group discussion. It depends upon it. You could ask the other person, but if the other person is saying you had interrupted me before, so it could backfire as well. Be smart in your approach. That is what's necessary. But obviously, don't be over demeaning. It is good to be inclusive. What else, guys? Summarize. See, these are the things that come with practice. Once you have given like 6, 7, 8 GDs, you will be confident, and perhaps there are certain common points that everybody knows, and they just want to speak. Just don't wait for too long. But let's say there is a topic in which there are not many points, and most of the points have been taken up. So what you want to do is, even if there is nobody speaking, okay, let's review, or let's have a recap of the points that we have given. Just say those 6, 7 points and then add something. For example, we have not taken a political aspect or anything that you think should be progressing, which will lead to a more progressive conclusion to the GD. If everybody has spoken all the points, everybody will be silent. Then that is your point to shine. That is your time to shine. Let's recap all the points that we have discussed so far. And even if you do not have any new points to add, just say, is there anything that we could discuss more, or perhaps we could discuss more about this or that. Any new example that you could churn up in those like minutes. This is what you can do. Anything else, guys? See, you need to watch group discussions, rather just discussions on Rajya Sabha TV. Come up with certain how they present themselves, how they see. In most of the cases, GDs are good. At a certain level, people do allow you to speak. If they do not, just ask them politely, say, please let me finish, and then you can say your point and go on. You do not need to be over empowering or have to feel your presence felt over there. Just you need to speak for like 3, 4 times, and if you're not able to do that, or you do not know any certain points regarding that topic, try to recap or try to introduce. Right? Have an introduction of it. Okay, we are going to discuss this, and so on. And if you're not able to do that, just recap in between or summarize at the end. That will make you more prominent. Just keep on, as of now, just keep on following DD News and Rajya Sabha TV. Just keep on upgrading your content, because if you have content, you will be able to speak. Just remember the facts. There are certain GDs which are factual, and certain which are opinion based. So if they are opinion based, try to read editorials. Try to formulate an opinion about most of the stuff, right? Opinions about environment, opinions about terrorism, about Indo-Pak relations, about Indo-Afghan relations, Indo-US relations, and about the caste divisiveness, about net neutrality, about anything. Try to have an opinion about most of the stuff. Even if you're not having any specific knowledge about something, try to have a generic sense of what is happening. Anything else, guys? Well, we'll just wrap it up then. Anything else you want to ask me? Try to avoid it. Try to avoid it. That is why I'm saying that keep a quarter of time for editing and reviewing. Review is very, very important in an essay. Spelling mistakes reflect that the person is careless. That is not what you want to reflect to the checker. Be careful. Leave 1/4 of the time for reviewing, because there might be certain sentences that you have repeated, or might have repeated, or which have no relevance. Try to remove those. they will all reflect. Just go through the entire essay. At the end, you will also feel that it is not a good essay. If there are certain lines you want to edit, do those. If there is any spelling mistake, correct those. Be careful. It is not a big problem, but you do want to avoid them. Medium paragraph. I would say medium paragraphs. Any paragraph would always have an intro of a paragraph, certain examples, evidences. Anything. See, essays are also your opinions, right? But your opinions have to be legitimized by certain evidences or examples. If you have examples, if you have evidences, then you can support your claim. You're not just being descriptive. You say, I like mango. Why? Because I like mango. That is not how you support your, because it is so sweet, because it is it is also called as king of fruits and so on. This is how you are legitimizing, you are supporting your claims. Every paragraph should have, okay, every paragraph should have uh, anything that is supporting your claim. Always have that. Do you have any questions, or should we wrap it up then? Study, Ketan. If we do not have any stats, examples, do not choose that topic. Or if study, you should always do not, if you cannot substantiate any point, do not introduce it, or try to do not leave any paragraph open. Close it. You have made a claim, supported it with certain examples or facts, and then stated that my opinion was right because of these reasons. If I say, don't try to not leave any point incomplete. Always have a complete introduction, a complete body, a complete conclusion. Right? Do not leave any open-ended points or paragraphs. It will not do good. See, specific stats. Don't say specific stats. Just say around. For example, if we say that the sex ratio of India is as of now is 944. So if you do not know that, the sex ratio of Indian is very poor, in the low thousands, 940s something, 900s. So you could do that around or about, but do not use false facts. Do not use false facts. Yes, yes, it will do. It should not be absurd, of course. It should have certain relevance. Approximately would do, yes, exactly. That you do not know when industrial revolution started. So you can say in the 18th century. That is not an that is an approximation which is correct. You cannot deny it. Nobody can deny that it started in 18th century. You do not have to say like in 1770s or 1776 it started, or 1730s it started. No, 18th century, or rather late 18th century. Yes, so this is correct. Anything else, guys, or we'll just wrap it up then? Yeah. Any more questions? I'm available at this. You can mail me at this email ID. Anything else, or we'll just wrap it up then? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good luck. Bye bye.